of all, if I was an Ambazonian, first thing I could have done is that I would not jump into a fight without preparing myself. Welcome to TFA Talking Point. Please subscribe to our channel. Thanks for your support. If I was an Ambazonian, what could have been my own strategy? That is a particular question directed to me. Under the video that I sent yesterday, somebody dropped a comment asking me this particular question. What could have been, what is my own strategy? That is how the question is. And the person went ahead to insult or say some kind of words that are not okay. But I'm here on the platform not to maybe look down on anybody or to say anything to anybody, but I'm here for the truth, because it is only the truth that can set us free. The way the person responded and dropped that comment, he asked a very important question, but toward the end, make a statement, 2 words there that are not right on social media. So I am going to answer that particular question that is very important. I just understand that the person is an Ambazonian, so maybe he's upset of me mentioning all these things, but that is the truth. And it's only the truth that can set us free. Because those people who have been killed, those villages burnt down, those our brothers and sisters living in the forest, those are our own people. And nobody is happy about all those things, all those calamities. So all these things came because I criticized. I came out with 2 videos recently talking about the terrible strategy used there by the military of the Cameroon government, the government of Cameroon, and the Ambazonians in southern Cameroon. And those terrible strategies are fully responsible for all the calamity, all the destruction, all the killing, all the kidnapping, all the suffering in southern Cameroon. And somebody dropped this particular comment, and I am here to answer it. I also believe that the person is new on this platform, because I have talked about severally about the strategy that Ambazonian leader in particular should use. I also dropped a comment talking about what Ambazonian, or a video talking about what Ambazonian fighter should do. Fighting can never give Ambazonia any independence. They can never fight and achieve any independence. Somebody also said that there are some people who have been fighting and achieving. Nobody except South Sudan. And if you read critically, detailedly, to understand why South Sudan was granted independence, you will understand. If you look critically into the world, you discover that there are only 195 recognized countries in the world. But when you look at the map, you discover that there are more than 250 countries all over the world. Many are not recognized. Why? Many are being supported, like Taiwan. United States of America is in support of Taiwan, yet they don't have independence. Why? People have been fighting and fighting and fighting, and nobody have ever achieved the aim of fighting. Not just one country. No country has been separated through fighting. It always ends on the table. And many of them will come back together. Those that, as it said, they will not come back together, they remain unrecognized for many years. So that is what you have to know. And first of all, if I was an Ambazonian, first thing I could have done is that I would not jump into a fight without preparing myself. If I was an Ambazonian, I could have prepared. We could have maybe discussed about it, prepare ourselves financially, materially, and with human resources, mainly the soldiers, having them and train them, that we have resources that can take us for 30 years We have a source that will never run dry for 30 years. If I was an Ambazonian and wished to fight in order to defeat the military of the Cameroon government, before I could bring up an idea that we should look into the military of the Cameroon government. How long can we kill them? And how are they recruiting their military? Is it difficult for them to have them? If yes, we know that we have to program ourselves for at least 20 years of fighting. If it is easy for them to recruit a military, then we have to be thinking about 50 years. And we have to look for resources, human resources, material resources, financial resources that can carry us for 50 years. And we have all those things on the ground before starting any fight. If I was an Ambazonian, but I am a Southern Cameroonian, strongly for federation in order to end the marginalization in Southern Cameroon. That is the first thing I could have put on the table. Jumping into a fight was the greatest mistake. If I was an Ambazonian, we could have declared war on the military of Cameroon in the forest, in the bush, struggle by all possible means that no civilians will be affected. Children will be going to school, so that as we are fighting, we are educating our younger ones, so that if we are being defeated, we will have intelligent people, educated people to take over from us. We will not have illiterates. That the government, the same government of Cameroon will come and manipulate them. If I was an Ambazonian, I could have put on the table that as we are thinking of involving or engaging in a fight, fighting with a weapon, in deploying soldiers in the field, we should think about the common people, the population. Because the population will be one of the greatest instruments for our victory. And we would do everything possible to maintain the trust and the confidence with the population. We will do everything possible for the population to trust us, not to fear us. For the population to respect us, not to be afraid of us. We will struggle by all possible means not to use any intimidative word or action on any Southern Cameroonians. Because one Southern Cameroonians stand up to betray, he can convince many. If I was an Ambazonian, we will struggle by all possible means to convince the population to support us, rather than intimidating them. If I was an Ambazonian, I could have not maybe say we should take weapons to fight the military, because the resources might not be there to carry us to the end. I could have proposed that we should disturb the United Nations organization and the Britain. Because Southern Cameroon is the only trust territory of the United Nations that gained independence by joining others. We could have said we are abroad. We are in America. We are where the headquarters of the United Nations is. We should unite ourselves together. Unite our resources together. And disturb United Nations. We should call on all Southern Cameroonians, wherever they are, to disturb the United Nations office in all countries all over the world, to write petition concerning how Southern Cameroonians were maltreated, were manipulated in 1961 by the United Nations and the Britain. And if Southern Cameroonians would table within a month 10,000 petitions against the United Nations all over the world, they would talk. If I was an Ambazonian, I personally got involved in this crisis in 2018, early 2018, when I started writing a proposal for a neutral body made out of men of God, civil society leaders, trustworthy Cameroonians, especially Southern Cameroonians, so that they can call Ambazonian together with Southern Cameroonians, so that all of them will sit and harmonize their opinion on how to liberate themselves from the slavery, the marginalization coming from the government of Cameroon. I was on TV. I talked about it. I presented it to many Southern Cameroonians. If I was an Ambazonian, I could have think of the people first. I will not maybe support the idea of fighting with a gun, because if I was an Ambazonian, I could have think and study and look through the history of Paul Biya as the president of Cameroon, that he is wicked. He has no pity. He has been out for Southern Cameroon to become second-class citizen, and he will take any opportunity to suffer the people of Southern Cameroon. I could have think of it, that any fight involving any conflict in Southern Cameroon, Paul Biya will take an advantage of it to achieve his aim of marginalizing, of assimilating Southern Cameroonians. And today, Ambazonia have helped President Paul Biya to achieve his aim by pushing many Southern Cameroonians to French-speaking regions, and all of them have been assimilated. And when this crisis will end, many will not return. Many will remain, and President Paul Biya will die a happy person for achieving his aim. If I was an Ambazonian, I could have created a cordial relationship while fighting with the population. I would not have supported the issue of pressurizing the population, suffering the population. If I was an Ambazonian, I could have think of what the population did in 2017 and 2018, supporting us, giving their all, protecting and hiding us. I could have think of that before engaging in punishing them. If I was an Ambazonian, I could have struggled by all possible means not to exploit, not to kidnap any Southern Cameroonians for no good reason. If I was an Ambazonian, I would have supported the issue of it cutting people's fingers, burning people's houses. I would have supported any issue of burning any public building, because after independence, we would need those buildings. If I was an Ambazonian, the only strategy I could have hold on to is dialogue, negotiation, disturbing the United Nations to answer to the world why they allow Southern Cameroon to go the way they went. That part of Southern Cameroon is today in Nigeria. Part of a British Cameroon is today in Nigeria, called the British Northern Cameroon, never to return back. These are the things I could have, and this could have been the best strategy that all Southern Cameroonians, all Ambazonia, could have, wherever they are, write a petition asking the United Nations this particular question: why they allowed Southern Cameroon to go the way they went in 1961. These are the strategies that I could have used. I could have not sent innocent people to go fight without training them. I could have not asked children to stay home against their own fundamental right. That because I want to fight, producing more uneducated people, people who will, in years to come, be manipulated. I could have not punished my own people in order to make my enemy angry. I could have not if I was an Ambazonian. But I am a Southern Cameroon. And the only message I'm having for you people Ambazonia is that what? We are all Southern Cameroonians. You are not a better Southern Cameroonian than me. You are not more Southern Cameroonian than me. We are all Southern Cameroonians. And we love that piece of land. And the only thing we have to do is to fight for that land the right way. So, if we can now start thinking of how to harmonize our opinions together. If I am for federation and you are for separation, and some of our brothers are for one and indivisible Cameroon, what can we do in order to give our children the life that they deserve? We sit together, we harmonize these ideas. We look at a point where the government of Cameroon are maltreating us. We ask and table it in a very gentle way. If you do not do this, we do it in a gentle way, on the table, without any intimidation, without involving the common people, those who are educated enough to stand and represent us should do it. Those we trust, those we know that it's sincerely they are for this land. So the other thing I'm having is that what? The whole world is laughing at us because of what President Paul Biya presented today. There is no way we can convince people again that we are suffering. Many of them believe now that we are the problem, that we are first of all wicked against our own, that we don't love ourselves. Let us prove today that we love ourselves. That is the only way out of all the trouble. Because where we are today, we have pushed ourselves into deepest suffering. If you look critically, you discover that more than half of the population of Southern Cameroon has fallen below poverty line. More than half has fallen below poverty lines. And on the only thing left now is suffering. Is for them to pass through terrible things. It's for them. So I'm pleading with you, listening to this, that your opinion is different. My own opinion is different. But these two opinions can be harmonized. Can be harmonized. If we claim that we are one people, because if tomorrow you fight and you succeeded to have an independent Southern Cameroon called Ambazonian, I will be part of you. I will be there. You will not send me out because that is my homeland. That is my motherland. I will be there. If tomorrow we struggle and we succeeded as a federal state, you will still be there. You will still be Southern Cameroon. Without any difference. The only thing we need here on earth is what? Is to live in harmony, in love. Is to prepare things, better things for our own children. We have suffered for 40 years, or even more than, in the hands of Amadou Ahidjo and President Paul Biya. Are we going to allow our children to come and suffer again because of crisis? No. We have to stop and reason out. I might have my own opinion, my own strategy for Southern Cameroon to be a better territory. And I wish you are having something more better than what I'm having. We come together and talk about it. That is my cry. Do not stand somewhere and insult your brother. Call your brother a black leg. All Southern Cameroonians are for Southern Cameroon. The only difference is how are you supporting your own territory. If you are supporting as an Ambazonian, when you come across a Southern Cameroonian who is not supporting the way you are, sit with the person and say, why? Do not call the person a black leg. Why are you doing this? Share opinion with those people. And you might discover that maybe you are the one on the wrong track. Or the person would discover that he or she is the one on the wrong track. And then you say, oh my brother, I have discovered myself. Let us move together. Now I'm going to support you as an Ambazonian. Because you have convinced me. Not because you have intimidated me. Not because you have shown me gun. Not because you threatened to burn my property. Not because you threatened to kidnap me. Not because you threatened to kill me. But because you convinced me to believe that truly you are fighting the right cause. Or you will come to realize, oh my brother, I took the wrong way. I have been fighting with gun all these years. And I came to discover that truly, if we have federation, we will be more better. And our people will not be suffering again. Okay, I'm going to drop my gun and support federation. Okay, all Southern Cameroonians are now for federation. More than 8 million people. They stand up. I said, we do not want anything. If you are a divisional officer, if you are senior divisional officer, if you are a governor, we have to elect you into office. And you will be answerable to us, not to Yahweh. Okay, my brother, I understood it now, and I'm going to support you. Or we say we are going to be under what other people are preaching. That President Pobia told them, that decentralization. And we see into it that, okay, decentralization in the real definition is federation. But when they take it and carry it to France, from France to Cameroon, they are manipulating it. Okay, if we are going in for, and you convince me, and then I abandon my federalist attitude, and then two of us convince the Ambazonian, the separatists, and then they abandon their separatist attitude, and then we join together to say, okay, let us be a decentralized state, country, in which everybody will be included. That is the way out of all this trouble. We are not going to live on earth forever. Things are happening that we cannot explain. The time that we could have been fighting, struggling to find something to eat in this difficult economy, we are fighting to kill somebody. Time that we could have been thinking of creating new ways of cultivating crops in order to feed. We are thinking of new ways to attack and kill our own brothers. The times that we could have been meditating on how to make our country better, we are thinking of how to betray one another. We are thinking of how to go and betray Ambazonia to the military, how to betray military to the Ambazonia. That is the trouble, and that is where we find ourselves. If you are an Ambazonian, if you are if you are for federation, if you are for one and indivisible Cameroon, and you are a Southern Cameroonians, know that we are one. When they stand somewhere and say Anglophiles, they are referring to all of us. When they stand somewhere and say we are primitive, They are referring to all of us. But we, you and I, we know ourselves that we are well educated. We know ourselves that we are well civilized. We know ourselves that the best schools all over Cameroon is in southern Cameroon. We know ourselves that we are naturally blessed by God. And nobody can intimidate us. It is only for you and I to understand ourselves. Make good use of what God gave us. And we will see the fruit of it. Not insulting one another because of his or her own opinion. My opinion might be different from yours, but you remain my brother. Thank you very much for watching this video.